when we go and look at the way that information is generated out through the internet, be it tweets, comments on videos just like this, the amount that are true, real people, versus the amount that are being generated by AIs and computers. The AIs have it in droves, and they mimic real accounts, real people pretty extensively. So, for example, I just had a conversation, a technical conversation with people on an AI project that wanted my participation. And I had rejected it previously, but went ahead and listened anyway again in an updated version. The super short version of that conversation is, at current levels, with a relatively very modest budget and modest number of people involved, they're able to manipulate and mimic in ways that you cannot tell the difference as a normal person, mimic 1 million accounts. So, and then they have conversations between each other. And these are not low-level conversations. They are very complex. In going through and looking at conversations that were being done on a very specific subject that they'd been contracted to do by a company that you'd know the name of instantly. I looked at hundreds of comments, and I would say that it would be virtually impossible 99+% of the time to tell it wasn't a real person with a real account, with a real history. And many of those accounts were 5 and 6 years old. They wanted to up their game from this million AI controlled accounts to 10 million. And they're just one player, and there are dozens and dozens and dozens across the world that are doing this. So when you think, and what they're doing is they're driving certain subject matter to the top of the search engine, certain subject matter to what you get to find or don't find. They're doing it for commercial purposes, but they also want to do it for political purposes. They want to do it to engineer how society looks at certain subject matter, certain information. So when you think that you're coming to your decision because other people are coming to the same decision, it's not as simple as that. Very targeted. In fact, they were able to target specific individuals, not just groups, in very precise ways, knowing where they intersect on the media that they access, to try and move group discussions and to bait out responses. And they were thrilled that they, on one particular thing, were reaching a 2% response rate. Most of the time it's down under 0.5% of real people responding to their concocted AI generated comments, input, or promoted ideas or videos. See, and so, for example, they had a particular video with a particular subject matter that they wanted to drive to the top of the search engines. So they took that particular video and drove it through different communities, where it then got shared and repeated. And not one of the people that was sharing and repeating it was an actual human being. It was all done by computers. For a comparison, let me just say this. Most people have no knowledge of this. 70% of all the trades that occur in the New York Stock Exchange, 70% are never seen, touched, manipulated, considered, advised by a human being. 70% of these stock trades on the New York Stock Exchange are initiated, decided upon, done by computers. They do high frequency trading. They're in and out of stocks multiple times a day, sometimes multiple times an hour. and it's a computer's decision to go in. And you think, well, it's just because it's looking at other stocks. No, it isn't. It's seeing news feed from across the world and making decisions. It's seeing people coming up or going out of corporations and making decisions. It's comparative analysis from 10,000 data points that are weighted variously, and the computers, the AI, has learned how to make decisions based on experience, how the markets act or react to information. And then the primary computer programs that are the biggest dogs, there's smaller computer programs that are reacting simultaneously. They see certain triggers by the big computers and they follow along and initiate trades or anticipate a trade based on how the big computer programs are doing stuff. And they want to get there first, and they're live, they're smaller, they're able to anticipate and get there. So again, 70% of the transactions, no human is involved in the decision-making process to buy, trade, sell, point of entry, point of exit, timing, anything. In the same way, that same type of AI intelligence is manipulating the way we see and interact with the news. And there's active campaigns going on right now to affect how we view certain news stories.